Welcome back to more Whack than Nickelback, the series with the dumbest name on the internet. Since I've been able to get back to creating content, I've been trying to figure out what should be the second episode in this series, and believe me, there's been no shortage of world events to write about. Our current state of inflation, the Russian invasion of Ukraine, whichever shooting just recently happened as of the time that I'm recording this voiceover, the Oscars incident, Oklahoma's governor signing a bill to make abortion illegal, and whatever else is available to read on my Ground News app whenever I'm feeling suicidal. With everything going on around the world right now, where should I start? Well, this is what I'm going to go with. Gilbert Gottfried died yesterday. Gilbert Gottfried, famous comedian and voice actor known for everything from Lago and Disney's Aladdin to his stand-up special Dirty Jokes to famously getting fired from his longtime job as the Aflac Duck in 2011 after a series of joke tweets about the tsunami in Japan. My personal favorite of which was, "I just split up with my girlfriend, but like the Japanese say, there'll be another one floating by any minute now." Bloody fucking legend the man was. He was most recently just in the first season finale of the show Smiling Friends. If you haven't seen it yet, I won't spoil it, but needless to say, it made me very happy. Unfortunately, I was unaware that it would be his last appearance. This may be strange to discuss considering that list of just some of the shitty things going on at the moment, but this is a personal thing for me. I love Gilbert Gottfried. I grew up not only hearing him in movies I loved, but in my life's darkest days, I could always throw on dirty jokes to cheer myself up, and then bring those old jokes to school and make my friends sit through them until they were ready to throw me down the stairs. Not only that, but as I got older and eventually discovered my love for the Howard Stern show, he continued to give me great joy hearing his old appearances over 30 years on the show. This is really where I started to feel like I was getting an idea of who Gilbert really is, at least as far as he was willing to open up. Gilbert, most famously, was extremely cheap, even up into his twilight years when he was still touring. He was known to bring home soaps and shampoos from the hotel rooms where he would wash his clothes in the sink. In the documentary Gilbert from 2017, there's a scene where Gilbert's wife pulls these two huge suitcases out from underneath the bed full of stuff that he brought home from hotels to save money on just the little things around the house. Beyond that, the man was known to work anytime he was granted the opportunity. He was in Microsoft commercials, Hannah Montana, Family Guy, PBS Kids shows, Nickelodeon shows, animated superhero movies, video games. He was the host of Up All Night on Saturdays for its entire 9 years on television. He was even in an episode of the long-running Angry Video Game Nerd internet show back in 2019. While it has been construed in jest that Gilbert just did all this stuff to make money, I genuinely believe that it was because he loved the art. Gilbert was a funny man. Funny, but extremely politically incorrect. Beyond just the Aflac incident, there were a couple of other crass things Gilbert was known for. The two most notable were the fact that his version of the aristocrats joke was easily the most well-known, both due to his voice and the absolute grotesqueness of how he structured it. And let's not forget his appearance at the Hugh Hefner roast. For those unfamiliar with this absolutely legendary tale, Gilbert got up at the Hugh Hefner roast at the Friars Club in New York City just 3 weeks after 9/11 and delivered the opening line, "I have to catch a flight to California, but I can't catch a direct flight. They said they have to stop over at the Empire State Building first." Whew, that's spicy. This fiasco was so upsetting to Comedy Central, it was apparently rumored that when Gilbert wanted to buy the originally unaired 9/11 joke, Comedy Central charged him such a high number that they knew he would never be able to afford. Gilbert said in his documentary when asked about this particular joke that it's just how his mind works. He felt the need to address the elephant in the room. Gilbert once said in an interview that, "I've always said tragedy and comedy are roommates. Whenever tragedy's around, comedy's a few feet behind them, sticking out his tongue and making obscene gestures. When you go to a funeral, the guy at the podium will say embarrassing stories about the guy in the box, and people will laugh. People lean over to the person sitting next to them with a smirk on their face, and the other person will hold their hands over their face like, 'Oh, I shouldn't be laughing at this.'" In this same vein, as much as I really wanted to sit down and write out about how bummed I am over losing someone who's given me so much, I believe it would be dishonorable to his memory to do so. Which is something that his family echoed at the end of their public statement, which reads, "Although today is a sad day for all of us, please keep laughing as loud as possible in Gilbert's honor." So I'm hoping to do exactly that, and I'm going to try to do what I think Gilbert would want. I'm gonna fucking roast him. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here tonight to discuss a comedian with almost 50 years of amazing feats. Feats like ever actually accomplishing anything in show business with that fucking ugly mug. Somehow swindling blue-collar audiences out of their money with the same act from 1980 year after year. Actually convincing some poor woman to marry him, for Christ's sake. I would imagine that particular accomplishment was thanks to Stockholm Syndrome. Fortunately, that seems to have paid off. Now that he's passed away, I'm sure she'll enjoy getting to actually spend some of his money. I imagine it's been difficult to live off the diet of top ramen and sardines he no doubtably had that poor family living on, the cheap fuck. Jesus, man, it's a good thing Gilbert learned to do that Seinfeld impression, or who knows where his family would be right now. Although, I'm sure they'd actually be happier if he learned to imitate Seinfeld's most notable trait, success. If anything, I'd say it's fortunate he passed when he did. A few more years on this earth being sick in this economy, and they probably would have ended up under a bridge somewhere listening to a fevering old man ramble to himself about how Pope Gottfried was actually really funny. I wouldn't be surprised if it came out in the news that Gilbert died directly after seeing the budget for his medical finances. I would be surprised, however, if I found out that he ever actually went to the hospital in the first place. In all seriousness, though, it is an absolute tragedy that Gilbert has left behind not only his wife, but his two beautiful children in the wake of his passing. Thank God they took after their mother's looks, or else that last sentence would have read something along the lines of his two buck-teeth, squint-eyed, monkey-eared, horse-face abominations to the human genome. Seriously, folks, thank the Lord for recessive genes, because without them, those kids would have looked like Jeff Goldblum at the end of The Fly. Now, please keep in mind I'm in no way trying to attack his family in their time of mourning. I'm just trying to help them see the positive sides of this. Speaking of the positives, I'm sure that the people currently supporting the family through this tragedy would be better at handling it than Gilbert would. Fucking A, could you imagine if this were reversed and God forbid Gilbert's wife was the one who passed away? You could see him walking into their bedroom at night, sitting down on their bed, throwing his arms around his sobbing children and saying, "Well, look at the bright side. Since your mother was Jewish, at least we can take solace in the fact that she's in hell." In all sincerity, though, ladies and gentlemen, Gilbert was a funny son of a bitch. An inspiration to myself as well as many, many others. A wonderful family man, the master of master roasters, and known for just being an all-around sweet guy. His passing is a tragedy, and I'm hoping that right now, he's looking up at us. And feeling like his memory is being well preserved. Thank you all. And it's for these reasons that the death of Gilbert Gottfried is more whack than Nickelback.
You know, years ago I was at a party and I ran into Jackie Onassis, and I figured I'd play a little party game to help break the ice. So I walked over to her and I said, "Do you remember where you were?"
Comedians are afraid of Gilbert. You will never see a comedian making fun of Gilbert.
He's a scary talent.
Because if Gilbert gets mad at you, he will just berate you.
I mean, I don't think it sounds anything like me. I mean, I just think it's unfair. You can attack me, but don't attack Roseanne Barr.
What? Why not?
Because, you know, it's very easy to attack Roseanne Barr because she's a big target.
Rosilla! She's been described as being covered with a thick layer of scaly gray skin, emitting a strong, disgusting odor of taco grease and ass cheese. Her sharp yellow teeth can take a man's arm off in one bite if you are foolish enough to try feed the beast her mountain of pork cracklings and one Slim Fast candy bar. Well, first of all, it's not true. It's not true that Bob Saget raped and killed a girl in 1990.
I can't believe it. Oh, that was wonderful. What a beautiful crowd. What a wonderful audience. Oh, you're a beautiful crowd. I love you. I'd like to take you home with me. I'd like to see you all naked. I'd like to beat you. I'd like to humiliate you. I'd like to hang each one of you naked by your ankles and smear cheese all over your body. I'd like it to be tepid cheese. Not even hot or cold. See, hot and cold your body reacts to. Tepid, you'd be going, there's something tepid on me. It's tepid. Get this tepid dick.
And then the son climbs up on a table, puts a noose around his neck, and jumps off. And through auto-asphyxiation, see, this is educational, you start choking, and that makes you have a big orgasm. Try it when you get home. No, really, I'd like you to. I've looked at a few of you, and I don't see that it would be a major loss. If any of you hung yourselves tonight and the cop said, well, he shot cum when he, good enough. Good enough. I saw him when he was alive. There was no point in him living long. Oh, please stop. You're way too kind. Just stop.